What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Shoot the Messenger. FYI, that name might change soon. Just like to welcome my team here, Liberace and Maybach Bubs, and I go by the name of Q Main. So today is a very special day. We have a very special guest by the name of Sazimba. You've probably seen her on the internet. She has quite a big YouTube channel where she discusses work life and everything in between. She's a film producer and what do you what a social butterfly as well. So Sazi, thank you for joining us today.
On my bio.
Yeah.
Let's see happy, Sazi.
Let's get into it.
Okay, give us context as to what happened. Actually.
So, what had happened was, it was a Wednesday evening, right? So, this white girl starts posting pictures of her saying that she's gonna go for Miss SA.
Yeah.
And everyone was, and she's very beautiful, right? And everyone was hyping her up. Like I saw a lot of Twitter, Black Twitter specifically hyping her up, Black girls specifically.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew that but anyway, yeah. So she got hyped up, and then within the same 24-hour span of 24 hours, they
when Twitter often happens, because let me explain this. Okay, so the girl is entering, people hyping up, it's time to go. But then Twitter after dark was like, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. Let me put my 2 cents in it. Right?
Yeah.
And someone went and excavated and dug deep and found old tweets. Right?
Tweets from
2014.
6 years ago.
2013.
2013.
And if you were 2014 and 2013, you know that those tweets were probably filth. And that's what
everyone was problematic on Twitter. There was no filter. Like our faves. Like I was going through like some of my faves on Twitter's on and the thing is with but here's the thing, do you know how to search old people's tweets? All you have to do is put that person's name and a keyword. So the fact that you put in Bianca what's her surname? Bianca Bianca and you put black, right? All it comes up about what she said.
Niggas with a hard R.
Oh snap!
In all her tweets where she speaks about nigga, Bianca fat. Then her, that's how they come up. You put one keyword.
Hold up now, so to be fair, everyone hated fat people in 2013, right? And that's just the fact.
Hold up. This brings up another topic as well. Maybe we can entertain. What are the cancel culture keywords? Because clearly there's fat, there's black.
You can't. I mean, it's the slurs essentially, of which I think fat is slowly becoming a slur now as well. The word fat,
yeah.
I think it's just an adjective to describe a noun, a really big noun.
Really big noun. Oh, relax.
Someone's gonna find this show and put it on
Twitter. Back to Bianca. So I think the consensus was that she was. I mean, I saw her tweets. They ranged somewhere. She had N-word and made fun of fat people, made fun of whores who tattooed butterflies on their back. It was all over the place. But I think what ticked people off was the racist element. So the consensus was that she was racist, or is and was racist. Now, so was that the consensus, Saz?
Yeah, the consensus that she racist.
Based on those tweets?
Based on those tweets and based on the fact that people she went to school with came to the forefront and said she used to abuse us as Black kids, basically.
Like,
people,
so racial abuse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was also then defenders, right, as well, of who came to her aid. And this is not
Yeah.
white. This is certain.
People came to her defense
Yeah.
and age. Now, that's where I was sitting. I was sitting on, when I was 14 and back in 2013, 2014, I had problematic tweets. I think most of us had problematic tweets. And we are all about this unlearning, right? Right now, we're all about unlearning and trying to do better than what we were. But people clearly stopped the cart at racism. And the thing is, racism is, I don't know how racism can be unlearned. It's innate because you grow up in a society, you grow up in a home that is clearly allowing you to be about this behavior, and you just
You know
see
what?
it. Yeah.
I think racism in South Africa, and I think you're right with unlearning and racism. I think you can unlearn to call fat people fat, call them whatever, right?
Yeah.
But racism is so entrenched in our society that you're gonna have to take a lot of effort to unlearn it.
Yeah.
Like, even if you grew up in a racist home, right? But you just go around South Africa and seeing the condition of the country. You see always in lesser, more subservient roles. Like their lives, I mean, like like you see they're worth less than the average person. And if you see this, whether you're black or white, I think on your psyche, it might just damage you into thinking that, like, well, black people are lesser than white people, right? And and especially then for I guess for white people, like I think that's how they get to maintain their racism, because they never confront why that is. I mean, we know why that is, right? We know the history, but they don't always know the history, and even if they do, it's usually very whitewashed. So I think from them, like, unlearning racism is going to take like a really great.
So I think,
and it's very hard to, sorry to cut you, but I think it's very hard to measure or to know that somebody is actually changed, because I actually had a friend that I used to work with, and he admitted to me, like, dude, and this was a white guy saying this. He was like, dude, a lot of white people pretend. They literally pretend to get it, and they say the right things in front of your face. But when we, on a Saturday afternoon, when we're having a braai and it's just us, like the things that he hears is like are cringeworthy. So it's gonna be it's even to confirm that a person has changed. Like, I know that Bianca said she prayed it away, but like, I mean, it's bro. I mean, it's very hard to prove that you've changed.
She forgave herself, guys. Please.
Yeah, exactly. That's the funny part. But you know, and it goes back to Eva's point about, you know, being observant to your current, the world that you live in, and the country that you live in. I believe way back, even when I was a young boy, I knew that I was black. And I believe white kids know that they're white as well. When they're young as well. Our social consciousness doesn't come when you hit, you know, they say that those peak ages of like 8, 19, 20, where you become social conscious, you know, you want to read more about, you know, who's Steve Biko, who's this, who's that. It happens way before, just by the world that you live in and observing certain things. And inherently, you then come to a decision, and as much as it's misguided, but there's a limited amount of information that you've already consumed just by walking around in your world, and you were able to come up with an ideal, and that's an ideal of race. That, okay, all I see when I walk around is I see a black waiter serving me, I see a helper serving me, and automatically that creates that sort of privilege in you, right? But at the same time, as much as you have that privilege and you're seeing this and you're seeing what's happening as well, you also see the other side of the coin, whereby it's a case of like, you have an opportunity to come up with an ideal which serves the greater good of the human race, and also putting your consciousness to like not feel guilty about the privilege that you have. And as a 14-year-old, and I've heard this, many countless times, say she was 14, she was, at the same time, it's like a 14-year-old at 15, 14, and you're tweeting the words niggas, and you're tweeting those certain things like that and that.
He's so black, they had to put a white
like, if you're gonna, and there's a black proverb that says, if you're gonna talk like an adult, you better take it like an adult. So like, so no, dude, like a 14, 15-year-old white kid knows exactly what the fuck is going on in this country, bro. I knew exactly what was going on. I couldn't articulate it into great words, but for damn sure, I'm not calling no one kafir. I'm not calling anyone nigger if I'm white. On social media.
Just relax, Bobs. Wait, hold up. We have to put things into context. This is 2013, right?
Cool.
This was
14.
14.
They range between, I can't, okay, let me pull up the specific nigga.
Yeah, 2020, 2010, freaking was 4 years before that. That was
okay,
the best social cohesion experiment that happened.
I guess my question to you guys, if a white person tweets or says the word nigger, are they automatically racist, right? Like racist, devoid of the context in which they say nigger. Now, I know they're not supposed to say nigger, right?
I don't judge specifically on that word, but I do. But one of the tweets was, look how black this kid is. They needed to put a white background for him. That's the one that freaking broke the camel's back for me. Like, treating a random person, black person you don't know, putting their picture out there, and then you consciously know that, so black, gotta put a white background. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Bob.
Let's go further, dog. Another tweet. A girl is cold. Okay, cool. Black guy. A white guy. Oh yeah, here's a jacket to keep you warm. Black guy. Oh no, bitch, you know that it was fucking cold out. Where's your fucking jacket? Oh, so black men can't be chivalrous. Okay, cool. You already know, bro.
In 2013, everyone was making those kind of tweets. Everyone was obsessed with making
that. No one, not everyone was making those kind of tweets.
No, relax. 2013, the Twitter of 2013 and the Twitter of now is very different. Everyone was making
it's 2014, bruh.
Dude, it's 2013. Go check it. And it doesn't really matter whether it's like...
Okay, it's 2014. Let's move on.
Okay. I'll indulge you guys, even though it's 2013. It's 2014. Like, in 2014, Twitter was like that, right? Everyone was just going at everyone, making jokes, all of that stuff. Now, her jokes are they're tasteless, right?
Yes.
They're crass, they're ill-advised.
Yes.
But I don't think that you could just say they had racial or racist intent behind them. But like Ustaz has just given me new information that her friends from high school said that she was racist. So I'm looking at it as a new line. But the point I'm making, you can't just say that, like, when a white person says, hey, my name, it depends on the context that they use. Like, especially in 2014, the word nigga.
Yeah.
And it's like me and my niggas hanging in the mall. I don't think you can just say, okay, you are racist. I mean, come on, guys, let's think about it. I don't
No, definitely.
Yes, they're ignorant. They're not supposed to use that word. But you can't just say they're racist because they were referring to their friends as niggas. Therefore, let's shun them in society and kill them. I think that's a bit of an overreach.
That's one tweet in isolation. I agree with you,
Yeah.
David. That's like one tweet in isolation, but I agree with you in that sense. But I think it raises a bigger question as well as like, we've heralded Miss South Africa as, almost like a public office, to be honest. That's how serious niggas take it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, and I'm not much of a fan of pageantry, but like my sister has been through it, and what pageantry does is that it puts someone on a pedestal to be a shining example of what a female with grace, dignity, beauty, and an ambition gets on this pedestal. And sometimes, which is a very messed up concept, because ultimately, like, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, we all sort of thing. But like, you know what? Okay, we don't make the rules. Y'all make the rules sharp. And our predecessor, Zozi, is an absolute, beautiful, graceful woman that embodies, a great human being.
Find some trash on Zozi. It's not that they didn't try to find some trash on Zozi either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know how black people, I'm not going to say it like that, but like when black people are put into scrutiny, it's 3 times worse than what a white person is. So that was hard.
No, listen. And I think that probably even in the maturity of someone like Bianca and maybe someone who, and I don't want to racialize this, black people would just have to know stuff. Like we have to be sociologists at a young age.
Yes.
Because we're in a world that's hostile to us, and you kind of have to understand, why is it hostile? Then you have to learn. Then you have to read Steve. Then you have to learn about the history of things, because it doesn't make sense to us that we probably we're not in a position of privilege. But if you are in a position of privilege,
leave it. So I actually want to ask you guys something, and based on the whole fact that we went back to 2014 to dig up the stuff, right? And we all have a past, and it's not always it's definitely not an indicator of who you are right now. I think that we can agree that we've since 2014 or 13. Now, do you think it's fair, right? Let's say you're interviewing for a job, right? And your potential employer goes into your social media, pulls up this stuff, pictures you've taken, whether it was a drunken night and there was a video, or it's tweets that you've done, and it's like, yo, this is the 2014. You are not aligned with our brand and our principles and our values. Therefore, we cannot
put the company in jeopardy in any way. Does that video put the company's brand in jeopardy in any way? Does being associated with me, having that video, put the company in jeopardy in any way? If yes, then they by all means can not hire me, because that's why Bianca wasn't hired for Miss South Africa, because she doesn't represent what Miss South Africa should, or her views then didn't represent what Miss South Africa should represent. But so by all means, if my video put the company at large in jeopardy, or the brand of the company, then by all means don't hire me. It is what it is.
And just more on Bianca, right? I think she really botched it with her series of apologies. I think 3 of them.
It was kind of burned.
If she can demonstrate that, well, she's not racist anymore, or she understands.
How do you demonstrate you're not racist? Taking pictures with your black friends.
Well, that was a fresh red, that token red black friend. I'm not saying it's true token, but like that. I mean, if you're being accused of racist and then you have that black friend, it looks weird. But I'm saying, I think you can demonstrate, right, that you are not via your apology, at least.
Okay,
That's one of the ways. So you kind of have.
What should she have said in her apology that would demonstrate?
Well, first of all, her first apology was some bullshit on, yo, listen, something about praying, and I prayed this away, and some people have done my stuff, and, you know, it would think to tarnish me. And then the other one was some long-winded shit that also didn't make sense. She's not a very good writer, like that girl. But anyway, I think you can buy an apology.
Horrible spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes.
Yeah. And spelling mistakes. She misspelled all. Like, she had 3 L's and all. Anyway.
Apologies.
And this is more than just... Okay. So anyway, like, this apology, we've seen, like, people that apologize after, like, their tweets have been dug up with the Notes app and shit. But they always fail, and that's why, you know, the apologies are instance here. It's because they always fail to grasp the thing that they're apologizing for. So it's like this generic, I would like to apologize to anyone who might have been hurt. So you're not even committing to the apology or to the people you're apologizing to. It's like, I'm spraying it to...
They're apologizing for being caught.
Yeah. So, I mean, if like for in Bianca's case, if she had said, listen, I've given our historical context with everything that's happened, I understand how my actions might be, even if she was denying it, how it might be construed for racism, and then, you know, admit to being ignorant and stuff like that, and then apologize. But you have to actually point at the thing you're apologizing to, like demonstrate you understand the thing you apologize.
Her first sentence in her apology was the fact that when I was 14, and we must automatically forgive.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think we're this thing of digging up people's. I mean, what does it hope to achieve? This thing that you dig up someone in 2014, because we all had those tweets in 2014.
Can I read you some problematic tweets from some of our faves? One of our faves. Listen. Hoes out here with arm fat looking like bulk French polony. Another thing I like about summer is when fat girls dress inappropriately and we get to laugh at them.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Shagging a fat chick is being on top is like floating on a waterbed.
Yeah. Look, man.
Like,
that's terrible. It's bad. It's bad, and you can't make it not bad. It's just bad. I don't think necessarily the word fat is an issue, but obviously what he's saying, like he's attacking fat people. That there's an issue, right?
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I was watching a documentary on political correctness, and no, don't call them fat. They overweight. What?
The issue is not fat yet. It's the views, right?
It's the view. Yeah. I think the view is horrible. It's bad.
Okay, cool. It's not really the word, especially I think with fat people.
Yeah.
But my question is, right, and the people who dig up, and this is all you can always see when this happens, right? So someone trends, someone is almost flirting with success a bit, right? I'll use Bianca as an example. Okay, so this is someone now who's gaining traction as like someone who can be a misunderstood. We've seen this with other people who went viral and were kind of knocking on success's door. And then someone pulls up their tweet 2014, 2013, which I would like to point out was the pre-woke era.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all young and idiots back then, and we tweeted and believed all sorts of things that we don't believe today. When people do that, like, what is the motive? I never understand. Because I think we're all guilty of those kind of views, or views that are equally as terrible, but yet this happens all the time, that someone has to go and dig up tweets from 2012, 2013. What's the end point here?